ESPN is reporting that Kyrie Irving has requested a trade from the Cavs. The trade request was made over a week ago, with Kyrie reportedly no longer wanting to play alongside LeBron James. LeBron was reportedly blindsided and disappointed by the trade request. Kyrie also reportedly named 4 teams he wants to play for: the Spurs, the Heat, Timberwolves, or Knicks. Shannon, are you surprised that Kyrie wants out of Cleveland?
I'm not completely surprised. I'm a little surprised for the simple fact, if you remember what he said, Skip, after the Game 5 loss, he said how amazing LeBron James was. The guy averaged a darn triple-double. He said, I would be foolish not to want to play with this guy and learn as much as I possibly could. But I think here's what happened, Skip, and just bear with me for a little bit. Skip, I look at Kyrie as an untouchable. He and LeBron James should be the only 2 guys on that roster that everybody should know their hands are off. But it came out that he was mentioned in a trade for Paul George, maybe even mentioned in a trade for Jimmy Butler. So he's saying, hold on, I'm supposed to be an untouchable guy. And you're trying to tell me, Dan Gilbert, you think you would have a better chance of beating the Golden State Warriors with Paul George or Jimmy Butler rather than myself? Interesting. He also sees that everybody keeps saying LeBron could possibly leave after this season. So when the 2018, the playoffs are over, there's a good chance LeBron could leave. He said, hold on, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you're going to leave and you're going to leave me here with pieces that are really constructed for what you do really well? No. And I think, Skip, at some point in time, Lionel Richie left the Commodores. Michael Jackson left the Jackson 5. The last great guy that was in a boy band and he left and went on his own, Justin Timberlake, after they sold about 3-4 million copies of their last album. He's looking at it like this, Skip. I'm never, ever going to get the credit that I rightfully deserve as long as he's here. They make Batman movies. They make Superman, Wonder Woman. They even got the Black Panther. Tell me the time they've made a movie about Robin by himself. And he wants to be a solo act. And you know why, Skip? I think this has a lot to do with it. Now, he has a championship, but he saw the love and the admiration everybody gave Russell. Russell Westbrook has no chance of winning a title, but he sees the love that's getting heaped on him. There's no question in my mind, if he were to take 20, 24 to 25 shots like Russell did, and he has no one else to defer to, there's no question Kyrie Irving can average 33, 34 points a game. He has that kind of skill set. And Skip, at some point in time, when LeBron keeps wanting to go this place or that place, even though he just doesn't say it verbally, he's saying, I can't win with you guys. Kyrie Irving said, hold on, wait a minute, bro. You might not be telling me that, but that's what you're telling me indirectly. Because if you want to go to the Lakers or you want to go to San Antonio or wherever else you may intend to go, you're telling us, you're telling me, I'm not good enough to help you win a title. And at some point in time, Skip, how many times are you going to keep telling me I'm not good enough before you say, you know what? I am good enough. And maybe Kyrie's trying to get the jump on everybody else. Normally when bad news is about to come out, we've seen this before. Bad news is about to come out, what we do, Skip, we'll go ahead and tell you the bad news so we can get ahead of the story. I think this is a situation where Kyrie sees all the writing on the wall, and before he gets left behind, he wants to get out while the door is open.
I disagree with your conclusion, but by the way, speaking of leaving boy bands, Harry Styles is really good in Dunkirk, just for the record. So he's off to the races.
It's a good song, too.
You know,
Stop it, Joe.
I like that song.
I don't know his music, but all right, I'm going to start back from the start.
Okay.
And I'm going to refute some of the things you said. I was not surprised at all because I'm going to remind you, they did clash from the start, from the tip, from the very first moment they were thrown together. And help me out here. Why were they thrown together? Because Kyrie Irving signed a 5-year extension, thinking he was going to be the man as he grew up into manhood in the NBA. He was just a kid at the first, right? 18, 19 in there. And what happened 11 days after he signed that extension? LeBron said, I'm coming home, right? Yep. And trust me, because I have several sources close to Kyrie, he did not love this. But he tried from the start to make it work as best as he could. And I agree with your point about even after Game 5, he kept saying the right things. He was not thinking the right things, though, because he had long heart-to-hearts with LeBron all along this trail. And it was a rough trail for both of them. And I'm not absolving him from any blame here, because he was as much at fault as was LeBron here. And LeBron tried to go out of the way. And just for the record, just this past year, usage rate, just last season, was KYRIE 30.7% of the time he had the ball in his hands, and LeBron 29.8% of the time. So LeBron let him have the ball in his hands slightly more. And for the first time in LeBron's long career in the NBA, he allowed somebody else to take a few more shots than he took. KYRIE averaged 1.5 shots a game more in the regular season than LeBron did. Now, in the postseason, LeBron averaged almost a shot more. KYRIE did not love that, but still, back to the drawing board here. So here's a KYRIE that just got tired over time of deferring to and putting up with LeBron, because LeBron can be pretty tough to put up with because he can be moody. He has a diva streak in him. As I always tell you, the king has a little bit of drama queen in him. The reporters always call it being passive-aggressive on social media. I just think he's flat-out aggressive. I don't think there's any passive to it. Maybe sometimes it's a little subtle, but I think he's just on the attack constantly. And after a while, KYRIE decided that it's time, because he did average a career-high 25.2 in the regular season, 25.9 in the post. That meant to KYRIE it's time for him to run his own show. And he looks at his buddies like Damian Lillard and John Wall. They're the center of attention. Maybe he looks to Russell, maybe in a way. I don't think he loves the way Russell plays, but be that as may. You're right. He is the focal point of that offense. KYRIE thinks he's better than all those guys.
Of course.
KYRIE thinks he could carry a team to a championship if he's given the opportunity to do so. So down the stretch of too many games, even though I kept saying KYRIE is the closer, KYRIE is the closer, KYRIE is the closer, he felt like LeBron still had the ball in his hands too often late in games. And it hurt him what happened in Game 3, because as we've talked about, the last minute and a half of that game, there are actually 4 big possessions, and LeBron had 3 of them in his hands late. He took the fadeaway on Iguodala that was woefully short. Then he goes up in the lane. I thought he should have shot the ball, and he kicks it to Korver for the shot. Then KYRIE did get his one shot, but he felt like he wasn't quite in rhythm at that point, and he was woefully short on a step-back three. And then the final possession, Iguodala knocks that out of his hands, and LeBron catches it out of bounds, and the game's basically over.
Correct.
So this is another instance of KYRIE thinking, I want to take all those shots. If it's my team, I'm going to have the ball in my hand. I'm going to make all those plays down the stretch. And in the end, KYRIE didn't like that inference that you talk about. We're top-heavy as you know what, because this is the way KYRIE looks at it. We're really good. Yeah, I'm not chopped liver. Kevin Love's not chopped liver, and the rest of our roster's not chopped liver. So he couldn't understand why LeBron was always complaining about a team that looked like it could pretty easily win the East.
And they did.
And he thought they had a real good shot of winning the whole thing. And they did not. They lost in 5. And then it bothered KYRIE after Game 5 that LeBron didn't seem to take losing that hard. And I brought it right up here. I was the first to say it the next day. Boy, LeBron looked satisfied after that game. He was holding his head high. Why? In part, he was the first player ever to average a triple-double in the NBA Finals. So LeBron can say, I did my part, I protected my brand, and KYRIE is saying, we lost. And KYRIE takes losing very hard, maybe to a fault hard, because he can pout a little bit, he can go into his shell, he can beat himself up.
How hard did he take those first 2 losses when he didn't show up? How hard did he take those?
Hard.
Oh, okay.
And he took the one. Look, he has a lot of respect for San Antonio, and we'll get into this a little more in a second. But remember what he did at San Antonio 2 years ago,
yeah.
2 regular season. He had 57, still his career high, and he hit a shot at the end of the regulation that was out of his mind, crazy hot. Here's the shot. If you want to refresh your memory on this, you want to talk about closing? Boom. This is when I just said, I can't beat that. You know, like this guy's out of his mind. And then he goes on to score 11 in overtime as obviously Cleveland finally took over and pulled it out. And this year on March 27th, in the midst of that, as I kept telling you, 23-23 finish of the regular season, the last 46 games, they got obliterated at the hands of the Spurs. It was 103-74, and Kyrie went 4 for 13, scored 8, and just felt like he was never really in the rhythm of the offense. And it hurt him because he wanted to impress a coach that he has so much respect for, Greg Popovich. And so now at the top of his list is Greg Popovich, because he'd like to, again, Kyrie is the flip side of LeBron. He's not looking to join forces to win a championship. He wants to be the guy. And again, San Antonio is not talent laden. They got one superstar. They just got one.
So now all of a sudden, after Kawhi Leonard has been what, 2-3 straight All NBA team, first team, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA. He's a Finals MVP. He's going to come in and he's going to defer to Kyrie.
I think they'd have a better blend. Listen, Kawhi is far more unselfish and without the basketball than LeBron James is. And Kawhi is easy to live with and deal with and work with. He's just not LeBron. LeBron's got a huge ego.
LeBron is a Mount Rushmore player.
All right. But again, Kyrie, and again, little things would bother Kyrie about LeBron's celebrity within the organization. And ESPN reported this, that Randy Mims, the longtime friend of LeBron, gets to ride on the team charters and has a position in the organization. And it rankled Kyrie. After a while, it just didn't sit well with him. Like, why should he get that preferential treatment and I don't?
Did he ask Dan Gilbert?
Well,
why are you mad at LeBron? LeBron didn't put him. All you have to do is go, Dan, I got a boy. I'm sure Dan Gilbert wouldn't have a problem with having one of Kyrie. He's not going to let everybody come.
Is Tristan going to get one? Is Kevin going to get one?
No. Skip. This is how it worked. I played on a guy with a superstar of superstars. John Elway was our quarterback.
Yep.
And this is what we knew. Every Christmas, okay, when do we want to come? We want to come afternoon or we want to come before noon? We all knew John had 4 kids. If he wanted to wake up with his kids and open presents, guess when we were going to have practice, Skip? If it was okay that his kids were going to sleep in and they could open their presents in the afternoon, guess when we're going to have practice, Skip? Nobody held that against him because we understand. That's what comes along with the territory when you're that guy.
No, but it's a little different in football. Quarterback is so much the most valuable position that if you have a franchise quarterback, he is definitely going to get his way over Kyrie thinking, I'm a co-star, I'm equal with LeBron, and I don't get it. Now, he says he didn't. He also says that Dan Gilbert promised him things along the trail, and I'm not sure exactly what the details were, but that several promises were broken. And then to your point, he had to read about being potentially included in deals, at least shopped a little bit. But that happens to everybody except LeBron James.
Because LeBron has a no trade, and we'll talk about that later, Skip. This is the one thing you know. Covering the games, the sports like you have for all these years, you know great players are very, very demanding. They ask of you a lot of what they ask of themselves. And a lot of time, the reason why great players don't make great coaches is because they can only see things through the lens of being great. And it takes all of that. It takes great, it takes mediocre, and it takes sometimes less than average guys to make a team. LeBron really looks at everybody and thinks everybody should be on his level. Now, he knows Kyrie is the closest thing that he's ever played with. Kyrie is an offensive juggernaut. There's no question in my mind. If he were to take a solo act, he could average 30. There's no question. But, Skip, he's not leading a team to a championship.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah.
But does he deserve the chance to try? Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you haven't seen him be able to operate by himself.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think he's going to be able to have his boy in San Antonio? No. Like LeBron got his boy Randy Mims? Do you actually think Pat Riley is going to allow that in Miami? Because he didn't allow.
Okay, I think you're missing Kyrie's point. Kyrie's okay not to have his. Right. He just doesn't want LeBron to have his. They should all be treated equal, which is team first, charter first, winning first.
Skip, you know that's not how it works. Let's be real. I don't get all the perks that Skip get. I ain't. Why I ain't got no refrigerator with my name on the door? I got a little refrigerator, got some water in it.
You want a little label?
No, I don't want no label.
That make you feel better?
I ain't got no coffee. I ain't got no coffee machine. I ain't got no TV that work. I ain't got no DVD.
I think Diet Mountain Dew sent that to me, if I'm not mistaken. So
They ain't sent
I
me
didn't
jack.
ask. Okay, well, you don't
Well,
talk about it.
you don't love that.
But Skip, LeBron is looking at it, Skip. This is not about the East. LeBron is he's looking at one team. As a matter of fact, the other 29 teams are looking at one team. Skip, it's something when you just think about it. You're gearing up. Now, everybody in the East, they're looking at Cleveland. Cleveland's looking at Golden State. Everybody in the West is looking at Golden State. So basically, you have one conference, they're looking at one team, while everybody in that other conference is looking at one team, but everybody else in the NBA is looking at that team also.
Okay.
Everybody's trying to pair players in order to take this team down, and that's the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
I believe that LeBron and Kyrie needs to get in a room and they need to sit down and talk and say, bro.
I think they've tried this many times, but keep going.
What's the problem? He takes more shots in the regular season. It's just LeBron is more efficient. LeBron is going to the basket. LeBron is not going to shoot as many. A lot of Kyrie stuff is jumper, Skip. That's not what LeBron does. A lot of LeBron points come
in a way they're not a good fit together. And LeBron, Kyrie considers himself a pure point, even though he's obviously a shoot-first point guard, and he doesn't run the point enough.
Now, his favorite player, his hero, next to his father, is one Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe said he made a big mistake by breaking the thing up. Now, maybe he's saying that publicly, and he's telling Kyrie Irving something.
Trust me on this. I heard from a very good source who knows Kobe very well that Kobe has been in Kyrie's ear about you should become your own man. You should find your own place where you can start your own legacy. So that's Kobe. See, Kobe said, at least I won without Shaq. He proved with Pau Gasol that he could win, right?
And the thing is, Skip, it takes a special person to be great, play alongside another great player and not one out. Because think about it. When Magic arrived, Kareem had already won 5 MVPs. It wasn't until the 87 season, if you remember the 30 for 30 documentary, that Pat Riley said, hey, Buck, I want you to take over.
He did.
Because he could have said, I can never be what I really want to be as long as Kareem was here. Okay. Imagine if Kevin McHale and Robert Perry said, man, look here. Yeah, we winning titles, but Bird getting all the credit.
Okay,
it takes a really special person to be able to swallow that, Skip.
I got it. But remember, look at Kyrie's wish list. Other than the Spurs at number 1, the Timberwolves and the Knicks and the Heat didn't even make the playoffs last year. So it's not like I want to join forces with. So he just wants to be his own guy.
Yeah, hold on. If I'm not mistaken, they got a guy that's 21 years of age in Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, they average 25. But what have they proven? What have they proven together? You're hot on him. I'm not that hot on him.
I'll tell you what. Well, he should have just put the Knicks. You make it seem Hassan Whiteside is a top 5 big man in all the NBA.
They did not make the playoffs.
They have Kristaps Porzingis. It's not like they have no one there.
But what if that's his favorite team because he grew up with the Knicks, obviously.
When the NBA said if you're starting a team with guys 25 and under, it was Karl Anthony Towns went number 1, Anthony Davis went number 2. So you make it seem like they got Andrew Wiggins, they got Jimmy Butler.
Now they're going to have to give up a bunch of that to get Kyrie.
Yeah, y'all, hey, do them just like they did y'all when y'all wanted Kevin Love. They gave you the 2 first number 1 overall draft picks and some more. So we want Wiggins back in return, we want Teague back, and we want 2 first rounders. Or we will take Karl Anthony Towns.
Need all of the above because I'm saying good luck, LeBron James.
Hey, I tell you what, now if you want to swap it straight up, we'll take Karl Anthony Towns. We'll give you Kyrie.
Well, now that Kyrie's going to San Antonio, guess what? LeBron can't go to San Antonio.
We don't want to go there.
You just one-upped him.
We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Kyrie has earned the right, Skip. He has earned the right. He's shown that he can play. But we'll see if his style is conducive for winning a championship. Because ask Russell Westbrook how that worked out.
I don't think Kyrie and Russell are the same guy, but we'll see. But here's my bottom line conclusion. You talked about Kyrie saying, well, hey, if LeBron's going to leave, I'm going to beat him to the punch. just remember, there's a big part of Kyrie that fears LeBron will stay his whole way, that he'll finish his career in Cleveland, and Kyrie doesn't want to get stuck with that. Okay?
Hey, do you?
Hey. Do you?
I don't care what Kyrie does. He's never going to be Mount Rushmore like Bron. So he can do all he can do. But the best point guard ever is going to be Magic. And then Big O will have something to say.
Sounds like KYRIE is off your bandwagon.
No, Kyrie, do you, Kyrie?
You're gonna have to eat all of it if he ends up staying.
But me and Bron.
This is just all of this is just so it's so surprising that this has turned out this way.
Yeah, Joy, start with the passive aggressiveness. I know what you're trying to do.
It's shocking. It's shocking that it's come down.
He left the Heat, Joy. It's been a long
I'm just
time.
saying. You know why he left the Heat? And that's,
We left because we got.
Sometimes it's better to put the organization over an individual player.
That's true, and there's some entourage issues with Pat Riley.
Well, y'all got the organization up here, but the titles are down there. Let me know how that work out.
I don't know. We'll see how many more titles come to Cleveland.